Hey, howdy, hello, and welcome to the show. Hey, you. Yeah, you, right there. Smirk here, and it's 2021 now. This means it's time to kick up your New Year resolution, and what better way than to start by getting fit? If you don't know how to get started, worry not, as there's a totally accurate and not in any way exaggerated experience nested in Steam called Gym Simulator. This experience was recommended me way back on the Gleamlight video by they who call themselves Heather J. For the low admission price of $2 regularly, you can gain exclusive access to this gym where you can lift weights, run on treadmills, do sit-ups or push-ups that you were definitely not going to do at home, and satisfy that deep desire to socially interact with the finest of folk.
I bet he is a virtual fix that.
Now, this is a Steam Redlight episode, which means this gym has been a little under fire since its debut in November of 2018. To take a look at the stats, this gym has 231 reviews in total, with roughly 85 of those reviews being positive and 146 of them being negative. So back to what I was saying in regards to what this gym features, you can start your gains game off with some bodyweight workouts, hitting up the treadmill, knocking back the boxing bag, and work the pull-up bar, just to name a few. To access these, just walk up to the machine in question and press E to start, then left click to start getting to work. But if it's a body weight or dumbbell exercise, hold tab, click on the exercise in the wheel, let go of tab, and press E to work the reps. This gym is littered with people who won't be there by the end of the month, so if you think it's crowded now, just come back in February. Nonetheless, you can interact with some of them, and depending on how swole you've gotten, they may respond differently. You can measure your progress by your swelling muscles, or by referencing the attraction and or strength meters in your tab menu. Now, because this is a totally accurate and not at all exaggerated simulator, you are limited by stamina. If you're tired, you can actually go back home if you have $10 total for bus fare, 5 there, 5 back, or you can drink up a protein drink of questionable substance for $10, which is being sold by the legitimate business up front, while the black market dealer past the shower sells his for $15. It's worth noting that you start with $0 in your pocket and you have to work your way up into the bodybuilding competition in order to earn money, so you might be sleeping in the gym for a couple of days before you're allowed to go home. An easier method, though, is just saving your game, returning to the main menu, then loading back in to refill your stamina. Little known fact is that time manipulation is a sign of dominance and is what the best bodybuilders use to achieve true mass. Anyway, oddly enough, you may find that when and if you desire to go home is that you have to walk through the showers in the locker room to come and go. Your pals in the locker room have a lot to say about you if you're still in the chicken leg phase of your journey, but pay them no mind. They'll respect you when your shirt can't contain those guns anymore. That's about all the foundation we need, so let's move on to what I liked during my time pumping all that silicon. So to start off, Gym Sim is absolutely hilarious. I'm just about 100% confident that this game is actually not a game at all, and is instead actually a pseudo game. As a game, Gym Simulator fails on quite a few fronts, but if you look at it as a pseudo game of crude humor comedy, it becomes a lot more enjoyable, if that's your thing. I consider myself pretty accepting when it comes to humor. Some people will definitely not find some of the contents or activities in this game humorous, but it got a lot of laughs out of me. If you needed any proof that this is mostly a humorous pseudo game, just start off by looking at your character's face. Like, what the hell is this? His beard is like a weaker version of The Office's Moe's, and this dude has some wild-ass eyelids that the hottie body shower thotties even talk about. Remember the protein drink we saw earlier? Like, how the hell are you going to look me in the eye and tell me someone put that in with a straight face? Or for another example, look at the way you bench. There's no feasible, or at the very least painless way for you to bench with your right arm at this angle. And then you have the grunt that comes with each lift. Just listen to it. How can you say that anything in this game is serious? I mean, you are literally swelling up as you are lifting. You go from a shambled corpse to the baddest, buffest biscuit in town. If you look at the store page, you'll see a sexual content tag. Now, this is because sexual content is sort of in the game. Now, I'm not going to show you the mosaicked nong-dongs in the shower room because then Susan Wikiflicky might ask me to bite the curb, but there are 3 heavy air quotes sex end quote scenes in this game. If you buff out enough, you can talk to the 2 ladies in here in which you'll have an opportunity to bring each other some sort of relief. These scenes are so laughable that I can't even try to sexualize them in my head, so I'll just show them now. So let's just take a minute to observe this scene, which I've clearly slowed down because it lasts all of 3 seconds. I guess they could be dry humping, but that's kind of a stretch. But if we spin around, there's no door in this room. How the fuck did we get in here? Did we fall through the ceiling? Here's the second. It's quite obvious what should be happening, but just like with the last one, there seems to be no separation in clothes. Now, there is a door here, though, so that's a little bit of an improvement, but I bet you've never had the pleasure of pulling off a 720-degree spin during oral copulation while squatting, right? That means you're not digging deep enough on your leg day exercises, so you best keep up that grind. For the final, more well-hidden scene, if you go to the black market dealer and ask him if you can milk it out yourself and follow up with that you'd be excited to, well, this scene pops up. What's even funnier is if you go into this with less stamina, by the time you've done the deed, your stamina has gone up a little bit, so I guess you actually fulfilled your promise. My actual favorite joke, whether it's intentional or not, is if you start with a maxed out attraction meter and go running for a bit on the treadmill, the attraction meter actually goes down. Now, I feel I've gone on for long enough about the humor, but that's really the most redeeming quality this pseudo game has, so hopefully that was a design goal, and if it wasn't, well, then damn. With all the good water now under the bridge, let's pour a little of the ungoodening protein shake into the mix. So to start off with minor things, the two gym songs are super unenjoyable to me. I remember when I first got past the main menu, I thought the intro to the song was the sound of a treadmill running, and I was like, oh, great, that's nice effects. And then suddenly this weird guitar-like riff came in, and I was just ass-blasted at how much I disliked it. The menu song is fine, the locker room song is fine, but the two-ish songs in the gym itself are just really not my thing. I wish Gym Sim had some volume sliders so I could just turn the music off, but that's not present, so that kind of blows. Secondly, Gym Sim is riddled with little bugs everywhere. For example, there's the aforementioned exploit of recovering stamina by saving and reloading your session. There was this time I was sliding around the floor in a sit-up position that I couldn't get up from, although that kind of added to the hilarity, but it still seemed unintentional. Mirrors also don't show reflection if you're not in third person, and even then they don't reflect accurately. If you go to either the Protein Lord or Lady's shop, you won't be able to talk to them again until you reload from the main menu. The more serious of the bugs is that occasionally you'll be locked out of taking any action, particularly after you fight the black market dealer in the back, but this has happened during some other times. When this happens, you have to force close the application and reopen it, and hopefully you've saved not long before that. Lastly, the project is seemingly abandoned. If you go through the pseudo game, you can clearly tell that some things were meant to be improved on at a later time, like the inventory section of your pause menu. Money also isn't really fleshed out, and your apartment only really allows you to interact with the bed for sleeping. The project got its last update in July of 2019, but since then there hasn't been much other visible effort, and I don't have much faith it'll get another update since they've got other more successful projects that have been released since then. Anyway, that's about all I've got to say, so let's move on to the verdict. So to recap Gym Simulator's strengths, it's a pretty humorous take on gyms. It's got a lot of crude or edgy cuts of humor that can be appreciated by the right crowd. And on the flip side, with Gym Simulator's weaknesses, the gym music is really not that great, the pseudo game is riddled with roughly a dozen bugs or so, and the project is unfinished with what I'd say a high probability of being abandoned. With all things considered, I'm going to be recommending Gym Simulator as a sale purchase, mostly because it's abandoned and incomplete. This sinks it down to about a 59-cent buy-in during every major sale. This may come as a surprise, but I genuinely thought the humor exhibited was enjoyable for me, and the enjoyment that scales to cost is really all I look for while reviewing in context to what the developer may intend on delivering. While Gym Simulator is incomplete, there's enough to do to give me an hour and a half of entertainment without feeling like I was robbed of my 59 cents. As long as this game's goal was to provide some level of humor, then it was achieved. I don't think that every game has to be a well-crafted or even a meaningful piece of work of art, as meme games are all over the place on Steam, and they definitely have their place in some people's libraries, mine included. With that being said, if the developer came by and found themselves insulted by me calling it a pseudo game, or came to tell me that this is a 100% for serious, no-nonsense game, then this would definitely become a hard no on the recommendation. And that's all we've got for today. Thanks for watching, and a Happy New Year. Don't forget to do the things like the video, comment your thoughts on the game or the review, follow the social media links in the description below, and subscribe if you couldn't shirk the smirk. If you're feeling generous, hit the bell and maybe I'll see you next week.
Damn, boy, he's thick. Boy, that's a thick-ass boy. Damn.